Welcome to Chapter 6, the Reference tab. You are looking at a document which is your handout, which you can always refer to when you need to look up something. In this tutorial, I am going to be covering the table of contents only. So let's get started with that right now. This is your Chapter 6, Exercise 1. However, I do not follow the directions given to you on that exercise, so please be careful about mimicking what I do in this tutorial because it does not necessarily apply to Chapter 1 exercise. All I'm going to do in this one is to show you how we deal with our table of contents. The first thing you need to do is go to your view, turn on your ruler. Then you need to go to Home and turn on your Show Hide formatting marks. If you need my help and I come to help you and you do not have your ruler on and you do not have your Show Hide marks on, I will probably tell you to go watch the video. Please don't get upset with that. I just think that I've already instructed you on this video on what you need to do first. And if you do not follow that, then you need to re-listen to the video. All right, so why do we need all of this displayed? Because you need to see your section breaks, you need to see where your tab markers are at, you need to see all of this information. You also need to be able to look at your ruler. When I click in my document right here, notice that I have two columns up on the ruler. I do not want my table of contents in two columns. So by having my ruler on, I can see where my section break starts and ends for those two columns. So if I go here, notice I have two columns. When I put my cursor before the section break, I have no columns. So the first thing I'm going to do is a table of contents takes up its own page. So I need to remove the text from this page. So I'm going to do Control Enter, which is my page break. Here's a page break that will put the table of content or the text on the next page. Right now, I'm still looking to make sure that my ruler has no columns, and it doesn't. So I am going to now go to my references. And for this example, we are going to use, you have an automatic table 1 and an automatic table 2. One of the major differences, this one has table of content. This one just has contents. Usually you're going to be required to use the table of contents. So I'm going to click on that, and you notice it nicely inserts the table of contents into my text or into my document. I'm going to delete this because I've inserted it now. And if you notice, I still have no columns. I'm going to double click on my header because my table of contents should have a top margin of 2 and side, bottom, and my sides and bottom should be 1. So I am going to go to my Layout tab, go to my Page Setup, and I want to change my top margin to 2. And then notice that it says applies to this section. I want that. I'm going to click OK. You notice then when I double click outside, I have a 2-inch top margin. How can I tell? In this gray area at the top, you're going to see a little 2. That tells you it's a 2-inch vertical margin. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to click inside my first page. This is my actual first page. It's got a 2, which is what I want. And then I go to my second page. If I click in here, I have a 1, which is what I want. So the way it works is your first 2 pages, your cover page and your table of contents, are not considered actual pages. They are considered more indexed pages where you would use a page number like I or II. Your first page always starts with your text. Right, so now we have our table of contents in. Now we need to go and look. Right now we have 2 headings. So we're going to scroll through. There is my first heading. How do I know? I go to Home and there it says Heading 1. And so that one's obviously centered in brown. So I scroll through. And there is my second heading. But the thing I want you to pay attention to, I know here at Stillman in high school, they don't have you use side headings or subheadings. In college, they do. And they expect you to know how to do these. So you notice I have side headings that separate sections. I have to take care of those now. So I'm going to go up to my first page, and underneath volcano facts, I have stages of volcano activity. There's an eruption stage, and then there is a cooling and inactive stage. Those headings are secondary headings or subheadings, and these are secondary headings, and this is my subheading. So I'm going to have to distinguish that. So I'm going to go up to my heading 2. I'm going to modify that. And for my purposes, I'm going to change the color so that you can see how this works. I'm going to go to my format to paragraphs. I always have to check my spacing before and after. My subheading or my side heading will have 12 points before and after. I'm going to click OK, and then OK, and then now it's applied. So I'm going to go up to my Format Painter tool, and these are stages, so those are not my side headings. But the types of volcanoes are a side heading. Oops, I want to do that. So that'll be my heading 2. I'm looking for more side headings. Well, my cinder cone is a type. Composite volcanoes are a type. So I get to types of lava. I'm underneath my heading 1. So I'm going to apply a heading 2 here. This is a type. There we go. Hit escape. Now I need to take care of my sub or secondary headings, and that would be my eruption stage. So I have a heading 3 here. I'm going to modify that, and I'm going to change the color just again so you can see the differences. Maybe I'll use a green. All right, I'm going to go to my format paragraph, and I want this to be at least 6 before and 6 after. Click OK. OK. Then I'm going to apply a heading 3. So stage of volcano, here is my eruption stage for heading 3. And here's my cooling stage. My types will be a heading 3. Shield, heading 3. And composite, heading 3. I'm going to hit escape. Oop. Right. So now I have my document set up, which is what I want. Now I need to go back up to my table of contents because my table of contents does not reflect any more of my headings. The table of contents will include all the headings that you have up here. So we need to update this table. I'm going to click on that drop down. This drop down. I'm going to say update entire table and OK. Now you notice I have my heading 1. Here is my heading 2. And underneath my heading 2, I have my heading 3s, and then you have your page numbers. Now, a table of contents, and I didn't do this right away because you want to wait till your table of contents is all set up and it's good to go. But you want to select it and put it on, double space, and you want to center the title. So there's my heading title, my table of contents. I'm going to scroll through, and everything has been officially set up. Now, one of the things I did is I changed this. I think in your document, it's going to be on double spacing. All right. But because it carries down to the next page, I don't want that. So I could put this on a totally different page, but then it looks kind of funky. So I'm going to just select that and put it on single spacing. And so then it all fits nicely in there. All right. Okay, so now let's talk about our table of contents. Let's say I'm going to go down here to my eruption stage and I'm going to put it back on normal. All right. So we're going to do that. Oh, before I do that, I need to show you something. Sorry. We're going to go back to our references. We're going to go to our table of contents and we're going to go down to custom table of contents. And what I noticed that when I go in here for customize, um, we're just going to say classic. Notice it only shows 2 levels. We want 3 levels because remember we have our heading, our side headings, and our sub or secondary headings. Then I'm going to go into options and I want to make sure that 1, 2, and 3 are set up in order. So in my table of contents, heading 1 will be set up first, then 2, then 3. So we're okay there. Okay, now if I go back in here, I'm just going to say yes. Well, actually, we're not going to say yes because that's not what I want to do. Um, I want to get back to our old one. So I want to make sure that you know how to check that. Now, let's say we want to create a new subheading. All right. We don't want heading 3, but we want to create our own. We're going to do this with the first 2. All right. Actually, let's do it with all of these. So I'm going to change all these back to normal or, yeah, normal text. So we use heading 1, 2, and 3. But what happens if we don't want to do that? We want to create our own heading. So we're going to go up and I'm going to hit escape. And I'm going to select eruption stage. And we're going to go to our drop down menu here and we're going to go apply style. And we're going to type in sub objective. It's a new heading. We're going to modify it. So when we modify this, we want this to be, let's say we want it to be 11. We're going to change the color to, I'm going to make it red just so that you can see the difference between what we've done. We're going to go to our paragraphs and we want, let's say we want before and after to be 12. Single's fine. We're going to click OK. OK. Now we're going to notice that it has applied it. All right. And so now you can see that it is called sub-objective. And I'm going to use my format painter tool. And we're going to put these, exit out of that. So you have a little bit of different heading here. Again, it's just creating your own style or your own type of heading, which you can do. So we've done that. Right now, let's go to our references. Let's go to our table of contents and let's go to customize our table. Let's say we want this to be formal. Notice there's 3 levels. That's good. We're going to go into options. But you notice my 3 levels are heading 1, 2, and 3. But we don't have a 3rd level. So we're going to reset. All right. And we're going to take the 3 out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down from my new heading that I just created. So we're looking for a sub-objective heading. There it is. I'm going to click in there and I'm going to put in 3. Click OK. So now if I go to my options, notice it's 1, 2, and there's my 3rd one. So that's good. We're going to click OK. And then replace this table of contents. Yes, we're going to say yes. Now notice that once we replace that table of contents, I have to reselect it and put it on Control 2. So now I have my 1st level, my 2nd level, and then here is my sub-objective level. Go up here. There we go. I didn't quite get on double spacing. So that is how you can add a new heading in there and adjust it. Anyways, that's pretty much it for table of contents. I'm going to go ahead, make sure you always save this. I'm going to save this one and have fun working with your table of contents.